Hi guys, this is Ravenclaw What If. Welcome back to another What If story. I'm still a little sick, but let's see if we could get this down so I can start thinking on other things at the moment. So, alright, let's get on to this What If. After Fury tossed the bag full of severed heads, the leader of the Holy Fairy Maidens gestures one of her people to confirm the kills. Fury was Fury was able to get a good look at the gang leader that was hidden in the shadow of the room until she leaned forward and her appearance were visible. She has long black hair with pure blue skin, with her eyes are pure red. He he came across this type of species before. The Chis are an alien species extremely loyal to the Empire, not out of respect, but out of fear. He has no idea why she's on this planet or leading a criminal organization, but ultimately he doesn't care either way. He's here to collect credits, not to get her background. He's not here to question her why she's involved in a criminal underworld and not with her people. Ultimately, he still doesn't really care. Bring me the bag. The female Chiss waved. Sorry, the female Chiss was handed the bag full of severed heads. As she examines the bag closely to make sure all the bounties that she posted were dead, she tossed the young man his credits. I got to admit, for someone so young, you imagine to impress me. What's your name? Fury. I am the leader of the Holy Fairy Maidens. You may call me Scarlet for now. It's not my true name. I've adopted this name ever since I started my operations on this planet. Nevertheless, if you're looking for more work, I could use your assistance for a couple jobs. Would you like to continue this relationship? Indeed. Um, on the work. As he pockets the credit chips, or how much he was paid for this job, into his pockets. It's nothing too dangerous like the last job you just did for me. I simply want you to collect some debts that are owed to me, and you will be you will be escorted to the job sites by one of my people. She could fill you in. Please come back tomorrow. Very well. I accept your offer. Good. I'll see you in a few days, Fairy. She watches the young man leave her sanctum or her base, whatever. She gestures one of her people to come closer. I want you to keep eye on that one. I want to know where he is, or sorry, where he's from, where he is, where he goes, who he talks to. Do you think he's working with one of our rival gangs? I don't think so, but it's better to be safe. Better to stay safe. Shadow him. Don't allow him to notice you. I want to know who exactly he is. Check his background. If he has a personal file on him, on record, I want to know of it. Understood, boss. It'll get done. Scarlet has a finger on her chin. It's a similar posture she does when she's in deep thought. Second later, she has a smile on her face. Very interesting, young man, indeed. He'll be perfect. I won't allow such talents to escape my grasp. Can't have anyone, sorry, can't have anyone allowing to have him. Indeed, a diamond in the rough. Don't know how he managed to take out the pirates. I'm interested in seeing what he's hiding. After Fury passes the shopping district in a nearby, oh sorry, to get out of the Holy Fairy Maiden base of operations. As he notices, he's being tailed by a group of unsavory gentlemen. From the feeling Fury gets off the men that's following him, they have ill intent meant towards Fury. One of the members of the Holy Fairy Maidens is observing Fury in this encounter to see if he's in league with one of the rival gangs. As he turns a corner to a secluded area to make sure if things get ugly, there won't be any witnesses. The exchange members pull out their blasters. The leader of the squad walks up to Fury. We don't know what business you have with the fairy bitches. We can't allow any further cooperations, whoever you are, kid. Nothing personal. The fairies have some enemies. I see, so you're from a rival gang then. Those hoes are not our rivals. They're beneath us. We're gonna wipe them out eventually. It's only a matter of time. We can't allow them to have any more new recruits. Even though it's quite strange that they would socialize with a kid, especially a male kid. That gang is known to be strictly female. We don't know what the fairies are up to, but we're going to eliminate them. We're going to eliminate you before you became a potential threat. You're half wrong on that exchange. As a human male exchange member, give him a curious look. I'm not a potential threat. I am a threat. You gentlemen are going to find out the hard way. While in the sprint, he unsheathed his short sword while dodging blaster fire. Without with a fast vertical swoop or swipe with his sword, he chopped off the man's arm. Well, basically chopped off the man's arm off. As Fury grabbed the man's blaster that was in the air from his cutting his arm off in midair, as he caught the blaster, as he aimed it to the man's skull, and just unload one clip off him or one blaster fire, killing him instantly, while using the dead body as a shield from the blaster fire from his two friends. As he dashes towards them, Fury Force jumps over the rest of the exchange. He shoved his short sword in the man's back, piercing the man's heart, and Force pushed the rest of them against the wall. As the Holy Maiden member, her eyes widen by the display of the Force abilities. Immediately, her mind is going by two different ideas of what faction he belongs to. Her mind is only thinking of what would the Jedi? Oh yeah, order basically. What order he belongs to. He's either affiliated with the Jedi or the Sith. She's still unsure at this current time. Or he could be just a random force wielder that's not a part of any of the orders around the galaxy at this current time. There's at least the Grey Jedi Order, but she doesn't know of them. She only knows that most people know about the Jedi, just a Jedi. If they see a Jedi, then it's a Jedi to them. They don't really pinpoint what order they belong to. For right now, there's only the normal Jedi that's aligned with the Republic, and you have the Grey Jedis that do their own thing. Before the last two of the exchange could recover from the Force push, they get lifted up in the air, off the ground, as Fury Force chokes them, as there's a loud crack noise, as their necks were snapped, as the bodies hit the ground, lifeless. As the young man continues to walk past the dead bodies, not even giving them a second glance at his handiwork, as he sheathes his blade after swinging it once, getting the blood off it, as the blood splattered over the wall, as he sheathed his sword and walked into the crowd of people. So, the exchange. I'm expecting there's going to be a problem. I might have to pay them a little visit sometime in the near future. No matter. I need to find a place to stay. He came across appropriate lodgings, as he had enough credits to have lodgings for about a couple months, but not enough to get a permanent residence. Nor does he plan to stay on this planet for long, if he could help it. He's only staying on this planet long enough to gather enough funds to purchase a spacecraft. But before he could go into furthering his future plans, he needs to study the Sith holocron. Several Sith holocrons he has in his possession that he took from several of the tombs from korriban. He hated to make himself look weak, his time in the Sith Academy, but it was a necessary tool to survive. But unfortunately, they had to be done to stay under the radar of the Sith Lords. If they noticed his potential in the Force, and the dark side of the Force, they would never allow him to escape. And forced to and to be forced to fight a pointless war between the Republic and the Jedi's. He might wield the dark side, but he doesn't share the ideals of the Sith when it comes to the Jedi and the Republic. After many hours of studying one of the Sith holocron, he decided to turn in for the night. As he head back to the Fairy Maidens, Holy Fairy Maidens headquarters sometime tomorrow, after he gets a good night rest, basically. Sometime later, at the Holy Maiden's headquarters, as a few women that was trailing Fury approach their leader, what did you find out? The exchange approached the kid. What was the result of the encounter? The kid brutally killed them all. Ma'am, you seem worried. The kid displayed force abilities. She dropped the chalice in her hand by the motion that the kid is a force wielder. The pure mention of the kid is a force wielder. Tell me everything. After the explanation of the play-by-play what happened in the alleyway, Scarlet has her hand on her chin in deep thought. I don't believe he's affiliated with the Jedi, but the kid used abilities that the Sith have used in the past. That I've seen. I've seen that type of technique several times when I was just a girl. Was he carrying a lightsaber? I did not see him display a lightsaber on his person, nor in the fight. He mainly used that sword sorry. He mainly was using that sword he has, that short blade he carries around everywhere. All I could tell, all I could tell from the display of technique he has, he's well trained. So that will explain how he took out the pirates. The moment he arrived tomorrow morning, I want him brought to me immediately. I can't allow someone with such challenge to slip from my grasp. I knew there was something special about the kid, ever since I saw him. You may leave. That's it for now. That would explain why I couldn't find any intel on him. He's pretty much a ghost. No records whatsoever. Even with the help of the splicers, there was no record of him anywhere. The next morning, Scarlet sees her potential new recruit being directed by her people towards her location. Good, Fairy. I hope you slept well. Good morning, Scarlet. I slept all right. Let's get down to business. I'll be frank with you. I had my people look after you last night. I had to be sure if you weren't working with any of my rival gangs. I suppose I wouldn't blame you for that. I'm a unknown factor. It's only logical that you had someone trail me. I would do the same in your shoes. I guess the cat's out of the bag. I can't hide what I'm able to do if one of your people was watching me last night. Indeed, are you a Sith? Fury starts to laugh uncontrollable at the question. Oh God, no. I might draw the dark side when it comes to the Force. I am no Sith. Personally, I can't stand them overconfident, arrogant bastards. A whole lot of them are. Don't get me started on entitlement, their entitlement attitudes. It's very exhausting. I take it you have past experience with the Sith in the Empire? Unfortunately, yes. I would like to hear your story, kid. I'm interested in your background. I know you don't trust me. I can tell that from your facial expressions. I'd like to discuss this over in private. Maybe over some drinks, some beverages. I know you're a new arrival on this planet, and making powerful friends would benefit you in the long run. What do you say? I suppose I could use some friends. I could tell you a little bit about my past. It's not like I need to hide it anymore. I'm out of the Empire territory. You don't need to worry, Fairy. Unlike the rest of my kin, I have no for the Empire or the Sith. Please, follow me. As she took Fairy to one of the back rooms, as they sat down at some sort of couch, and a table basically in front of the couch, she had some Twi'leks under her employment serve them drinks. As she keeps observing his facial expressions while he explained his time with the Empire to see if she could tell if any hint of lying in his words. I guess I should start at the beginning. There's no easy way to put it. My family were slaves in the empire. My family's been been slave for many generations. I have no knowledge how my family became slaves, but that's not important. I don't really remember my father very much. Oh, I know he was a sorry. I know he was struck down by a sith by accidentally bumping into him. Apparently, something about disrespecting him somewhat. You know how Sith are. My mom told me a lot of stories about my old man. He was a kind man with a big heart. With a smile on his face, mentoring his mother. The thought of his mother, it always brought a smile on his face. Yeah, because I was only his parent when he grew up, so he was very overprotective when it came to his mother. My mother was a kind, warm-hearted woman, quite strong-willed, and strong in the force. She taught me how to hide my abilities, but those fucking bastards worked her to death, to her deathbed. The moment, the moment he said that, he lost his smile. Scarlet noticed the glass that was on the table was beginning to float and crack from his pure emotions, as everything that's in the room currently are floating in the air, being crushed by the force of the pure strength of the force he wields. I want to kill them, all of them. The Sith, the Empire. They used my mother. They used my mother until she was no longer strong enough, then died. They just tossed her away like some sort of tool. They took they took away sorry, took away the only damn thing I cared about. This goddamn sis took me to the goddamn stupid Sith Academy to brainwash me to be one of those goddamn Sith. I tried to I did my best to keep my affinity with the Force low key as possible to make sure I seem weak so they don't take an interest in me. I'm going to be damned if I'm going to get stuck in that conflict between the Sith and the Jedi. I have no interest in fighting a pointless war and to be used as a tool then tossed away when I'm no longer useful. I know how those fuckers Sith work. Scarlet placed her hand on his in a gesture to comfort him, keep him from wrecking her room even further. She may be a ruthless criminal. She has, but she still has a heart. Scarlet can tell talking about this is rough on the kid. His emotions all over the place. After all, Fury is still a kid alone in a unforgiving galaxy. That she can understand that. She was in his shoes before. Once her family was killed and left alone by herself to struggle to survive. She sees a lot of herself in Fury. But by that kind gesture, Fury eventually simmered down. Thank you, Scarlet. I do apologize. I lost my cool there for a moment. It's quite alright. How did you escape? A smuggler. When the Republic attacked Korriban, they gave me the perfect chance to escape. I might have threatened the smuggler a little bit. I had to get out of there. If I stayed any longer, they might have figured out I've been hiding my abilities in the Force. And if they found out, I would have never escaped that place. What are you planning to do? I really don't know. I just want to earn enough credits to get a spaceship and go further out of the Imperial territories. I'm too close for comfort right now. I know if I stay here too long, it's only a matter of time before the Sith takes notice of me. If you haven't noticed, I haven't been subtle when it comes to using my force abilities, apparently. I'll be damned, I'm going back to that planet. I will never be a slave again, nor be bound by the Sith order. Sith might not look like slaves, but they are. They're bound to their internal hatred towards the Jedi Order. It's ironic, really. They preach about breaking their bonds, but in truth, they're slaves to their emotions. It's sad. If it wasn't so funny. As Fairy begins to start laughing, out of nowhere, as he finally stopped laughing after a couple seconds, they allowed their pride and lust for power to plot to slaughter each other. If they simply band together, the Sith would have already won the war a long time ago. But because of Sith nature, it will never happen. Even with the Dark Council to stop the the severe conflict between the different Dark Lords. Only a matter of time before they fell as well. The rest of the Sith will turn on the Dark Council. It's in Sith's nature for conflict. The Sith doesn't care about the Imperials, they simply use them as tools. They even go as far as to use the Empire to attack other Imperials. No wonder they haven't won the war yet. Simple infighting between different Sith Lords. Pathetic. Scarlet's inner thoughts. Despite his anger, the kid's bright and quite clever. He has a good head on his shoulders. I like him. If you're worried about the Empire noticing you here on this planet, you don't need to worry. What do you mean, Scarlet? I can't protect you. I may not look it, but I'm well connected. I'm not going to lie to you, kid. You would be quite useful to me if you pledge your allegiance to me. I can protect you, and you would have a comfortable life, and I can provide you with the necessary funds to get your own spaceship. When the time came, when you were ready to venture off in the galaxy. I'm in the market for a new enforcer. You fit the bill very well. My organization usually don't my organization usually only recruits females. It's only a personal preference on my part, but it's not against the rules for to accept a male in the family. You'll be the first if you accept. I will treat you well under my command. The choice is ultimately yours, Fury. Despite your abilities in the Force, I took a liking to you after listening to your little bit of your past. I really don't have any options at this current time back uh, without proper backing. My time here will be difficult on this planet, and with your resources would be very helpful to me in the long run. Very well. I accept your offer, Scarlet. I'm very happy to hear that. Don't worry, dear. I won't make you do anything that you didn't want to do. I like to keep a open dialogue with my people in the organization. Everyone here has a voice, but ultimately I have the final decision. But I will hear you out if you have a better, how I say this, a better plan or method. Come on, Fairy. Let's officially introduce you to the rest of the girls. You'll be working with Jade majority of the time. You haven't met her yet. After Scarlet and Fury went back to the main room and gathered the rest of all her members of her organization. All right, girls, I have an announcement to make. I'd like you all to officially meet one of our new members of our little family. His name's Theory. I know some of you might not like the idea of a male entering our little family. Give the kid a little chance. Give the kid a chance. He'll surprise you. Fury, step forward. Fury stepped forward towards Scarlet and knee down on one knee. He placed one hand on the ground. Fury, Rosefield, I hereby pledge my allegiance to the Holy Fairy Maidens and their leader, Scarlet. And I will use everything in my disposal towards the safety and the prosperity of the Holy Fairy Maidens. Well, I'll be damned. Our first male recruit here ever. Quite a cutie at that. Oddly, I'm okay with it. As Jade, this normally comments out of everywhere, because she's kind of yeah, she's not, she's the type of person that doesn't get serious a whole lot. Normally jokes around majority of the time. Of course you would, Jade. You were always quite a flirt. Can't help it when there's such a cutie there. You know you're old enough to be his mother. You mean sister, I'm not that old. In all seriousness, show him the ropes, Jade. Come on, kid. We got some debts to collect. Don't worry. I'll be gentle. Fury is following... Ooh, give me a second here. Sucked. Okay, let's continue. Fury is following the blonde-haired, purple-eye human woman to their current job. Don't worry, pretty boy. This is going to be an easy job. You just have to collect some debts. Some might be reluctant at first, but if it gets ugly, just leave it to me. After all the people she had sorry. I totally... After all, I'm a people person, and she has an unsettling grin on her face. I don't know what I was reading the first time, but whatever, let's continue forward. Fury followed Jade to a few places to collect some debts from several different locations. The first two was very, very easy, but the third one was reluctant. After Jade roughed him up a little bit, he ultimately gave up what he was owed, or what he owed. All right, pretty boy. We're at the next location. This one's all yours. I'll sit back and watch you work. The moment the door opened, after he knocked, the man told the kid to buzz off and slammed the door in his face. Jade sees how irritated Fury is. Instead of knocking on the door again, he ripped it off his hinges and threw the door towards back of him, hitting the wall, slamming into the wall on the other side of the street. The man was about to pull a blaster on Fury. The blaster gets yanked out of the man's hand by an unknown force. As Izuku catches it, it's a quite expensive blaster you got there, friend. You're able to afford such a expensive weaponry, but yet you can't afford a simple debt you owe. You're going to pay your debt, or things are about to get very nasty here for you. As the man starts to float in the air by being choked by Fury, the man struggles to talk. It's in the safe, bastard. As he force pushed the man to the wall, basically. He placed his hand on a small safe as he uses his force abilities to figure out the code combination. Touching a small object, he could glimpse into a bit of the past, like a safe or how they use that certain object he touched. So he basically saw them. He saw him put in the code. So after he got back using his force ability, he pretty much input the code with no problem. A door finally opens up as he gets the credits that he was owed, the gang. I expect next time you owe us any debt, you hand it over with no complaints. I could torture you in so many ways using the force. Have you ever had your brain scrambled? As the man gulped, simply said, "Yes, sir." Totally terrified of the kid. I'm taking this blaster as a down payment for pissing me off. You're luck. You're lucky you're still live. You're lucky you're still breathing. And fix your goddamn door. As he simply walked out of the place with the blaster in on his belt buckle. Nice job. Having you around will make things a whole lot more interesting. Let's head home, kid. Sometime later, they finally get back. Good. You're back. How did he do, Jade? Very good, actually. Well, Jade. Well, while Jade and Scarlet are talking, Fury feels a disturbance in the Force. Everyone could hear a blaster shot shoot through the window, about to hit Scarlet in the head, as the blaster shot hovers in midair, stopping before it could get too close to her. Her eyes widen as she looks towards Fury. His opposite hand, he pulled the assassin from the second story to the ground as he redirected the bolt blast shot away from anyone to get struck as it charred the wall. Figuring that one blast so far, he immediately just start resorting to using force lightning to torture the intruder that attempt to kill Scarlet. As the man screaming out in pain, begging it to stop. That's enough, Fury. I've seen you around before. The exchange. Have a lot of gall to try to assassinate me. It really doesn't matter. It seems like the exchange wants a war with me. So be it. Fury, finish him. With one swipe of his fingers, he snaps the assassin's neck, as everyone could hear the loud crack noise echoing around the hall. Thank you, Fury. As Scarlet was very thankful for basically saving her life. Jade will show you to your new room. I want you close by to me at all times. Things are about to get a lot more lively around here. Understood, boss. After Scarlet had all his belongings moved to one of his permanent room while he's a part of her gang, her little family, continued to study the Sith holocrons. A month has passed, as he's learned a couple more things about force fire. Better utilize it without it having that drawback. Force fire doesn't care if you're the wield or not. If you're weak in using it, it will go upon you instead of your foes. And after my research on the force fire, it's technically not a Sith ability. It's more in the middle. It's more of a I forget who first used it. I think it was the Night Sisters. It comes from their tribe, that power. So I know at some point I know Luke Skywalker was able to wield it, but we're not gonna get into all that lore stuff. So let's continue on. After the assassination attempt, Scarlet had the base on lockdown. No one's allowed to leave or come in. After some time had passed since the month, Fury walked up to Scarlet and kneed down on one knee while Scarlet was sitting on her throne made of bones. Good. You're here. I have a mission for you. It won't be as easy, but it will be extremely dangerous. We are officially at war with the Exchange. There are some... I'm going to have to unleash you on the Exchange. Show no mercy. Head to one of their spice factories they run and burn it to the ground. If anyone get in your way, eradicate them. As a force wielder, I got my hands... Well, sorry. As you were a force wielder, I got my hands on a weapon you surely need. Bring it in, Jade. Jade put a black box in front of Fury. A black metal box. In front of Fury, basically. When he opened it, he sees a black hilt lightsaber. As he reaches towards the lightsaber and turned it on, as he ignited a bright purple light from the blade. Considering this a gift to me to you, Fury. After all, you need a proper weapon on your big day, on the grand stage. Grand stage. The Exchange might not know who you are, but after tonight, they surely will. I know I'm asking a lot from you. It's quite alright. You've been quite good to me. It would be my extreme pleasure to rid you of this nuisance. I was going to kill the Exchange anyways. They tried to kill me, so it's only natural that I do the same. Don't worry, I won't leave anyone alive. I'll be off, after all. I'm extremely looking forward to my meeting with the Exchange. This is going to be quite enjoyable for me. I haven't had a chance to let loose in a while. I have some pinned up anger to release. After all, only sending 3 or 4 people to kill me, that's insulting. Your gift will be well used in this task you gave me. As we time skip about 30 minutes later, Fury is standing in front of the factory that they've been using to synthesize this new type of spice. Almost said skooma. That's Elder Scrolls. Okay, let's continue. That they've been creating. There's a security wall surrounding the whole factory, keeping everyone outside from entering. There is several sniper units on the security wall itself, with a couple of guard towers. 2 exchange members are guarding the front gate. There are several security bots patrolling the whole factory. They're round droids that fly around with a eye, basically. If they spot you, they'll notify their master. So yeah, it's basically what that is. Where I need to remember where I left off. At the victory, it was heavily fortified. Okay, there we go. Patrolling the whole factory ground, it looks heavily fortified for a drug factory. Even Fury was impressed by the quality of tech they have on this place. Fury started to hear blaster fire in the factory. He immediately saw someone trying to sneak in. Judging by the robes, Fury couldn't tell what what order they belonged to. He could tell that they are quite powerful in the Force, not so well trained yet. After all, he's never had any experience with Jedi or Grey Jedi before. He can't tell from those two orders apart. He definitely knows this one's a Jedi, trying to infiltrate poorly into the pretty military structure at this point. Suspects this one's most likely the Padawan and the Master's in the factory itself. The Master's causing trouble, and this gives him the perfect opportunity to infiltrate the factory, being undetected. The exchange in the Jedi is best to keep away from them until he figures out what type of Jedi they are and what they're after. If there was sorry, give me a second here. If these Jedi are with the Republic, he's most likely going to have to kill both of them. But if it's a Grey Jedi, there's room for negotiations. As Fury starts to sense the dark side emanated from the factory after he cleared his senses of outside sources, the pure dark energy emanated from the factory. There's either a dark side wielder, like himself, or a Sith. That's most likely why the Jedi are here. He kept his dark side presence shielded, out of habit. Luckily he did, or the Jedi and the Sith would have already caught on to his presence. And that's where we're going to leave it at. Hope you guys have a good night today, judged by time zones, and I'll catch you in the next video. Alright, bye.